Okay, so this is all dry. I'll do a quick show you how to do the door and windows. When you make the outside cuts on a door and window, you want it perpendicular. You want this to be a nice clean cut. Straight up and down knife, straight up and down everything. I am just scoring it. Just the very, very tip of my knife is in that wood. I don't want to cut deep yet. You have your choice when you make a door. You can either punch it all the way through, as in doors on here, where you're actually adding an outside door if you like. That's a punch through. Or you have a door like this, where all it is it's just carved in the outside. You don't even have to have a hole through the window. So that would be your choices. I know people who make the door, it's not a punch through and they would burn around it. I mean, the possibilities are endless. When you make a punch through door, I'll just let you know right now, it takes a long time to make a little tiny door to fit that because you're working with layers of wood. I have added furniture into these, chandeliers. Sometimes I'll get a piece where maybe the ledge sticks out too far, and I'll make an itty bitty tiny bench with a pile of wood and glue them on there with an umbrella. If you're out to sell this, people love that. They like the detail. This next cut I'm making in here is deeper now. And all I'm doing, I'm using my palm tool, I'm just taking it right to my cut line, and it just keeps going deeper and deeper. You can make steps into there. I really like this piece here, where you have your steps all the way through, and they're actually climbing and turning. I like that effect as just for me. So I have been adding that into a lot of stuff where they just disappear into the back. It's not an easy task, but it's, as long as you use glue, it's possible. Okay, so we got the door here. That's about done. You do the exact same thing for the window. You just cut straight around the outside, the perimeter, and take wood out in between. When you spray finish on these, seriously, this one here, I used a high gloss polyurethane, and I am not sure if I like it. Other people do like it, which it probably happens with all your artwork, happens with mine. I'm not sure if I'm going to dull it down yet, but that's like a high gloss. This is, I use Deft. I really like Deft product. It seems to last. It's non-yellowing. Any of these can sit in the sunlight and they won't get hurt from the sun. That's what Deft does for it. So basically it's just 2-3 coats of clear finish, and that's your finished product. Okay. You can make your doors and windows any shape you like. Just because I like whimsical, curvy things does not mean everybody has to do whimsical, curvy things. But I use a Floyd Radigan knife, and I would suggest everyone buy one. These are excellent knives. I haven't found one yet that works well like this. So there's Floyd's plug. Gotta love them. Pardon? No, this is just flat. Yeah. I don't really use V tools on cottonwood. The problem with using a V tool, if your V tool goes, the points of it go lower than the wood, it will chip out. I use micros. I do use 2 of them just for the finishing on the shingles. But you really have to be careful because if you go too deep and it just, it takes a split second, I do it all the time, then you can chip out like a half a shingle or anything you're using it on. If you're good at running these really well, go for it. If it works for you, go for it. I mean, any tool that helps you achieve a nice piece of work, I'm for it. Okay, so got the little door in basically. I'll just probably wood burn a little handle in there. It's the same thing applies for the windows. You just cut around it, go to it. Okay, we have shingles. I have penciled in my shingles. How to make these look really nice. Your first cut is straight in. You have to know where the point of your knife is. When you push that knife in and pull it, you always pull down when you're doing shingles. If you pull and try to go this way and you slip, you wipe out everything in its way. Always go that way. You can always take more off from underneath. So these are just tips that I have found from mistakes. So we make our first initial cut, just a straight cut. Our second and our third, we're going to make a V, and you're going to make the tip of that knife hit. That's the goal, right in the center. If it hits perfectly, you're going to get a chip that comes out just like that. And it's just it will come out. Every time, it'll come out. So learning the tip, where the tip of your knife is a really good thing. That one I cut, it didn't hit that tip quite all the way. You never pull it out. You have to cut it. If you start pulling it out, it's in layers, it's going to chip. Okay, so we're going to cut a few in here. And you realize I am really zinging through this. And I don't know, is anybody going up to Everett by any chance? I would, if I was any of you, I would really try to make an effort to get up there even for one day, even if you don't carve, just to see what's out there. And, you can never, ever see too much art, in my opinion. Okay. So now I've got the basic. Went on my lines, straight down, did the V on them. Well, now it's starting to really start looking like something. I myself, I do not like corners and tips, so all of these corners and tips on here are going to get cut off because I'm just that way. You can leave them if you like. I'm pretty easygoing about what you do with your work. Okay. Get this done and you'll see that okay. You can see it really changed the shape of those shingles, just taking those tips off. When I look at this, now we're going to start looking at balance, and you have to keep turning your piece. I'm looking at it, and I see a great big lump right here when I'm looking at it. Turn it, yeah, big lump, off it goes. You have to keep turning and looking constantly. If I take off more of that bark, I may have to add shingles down there. Oh, that looks way better. So just taking that little lump off there made quite a big difference on the shape of that roof. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm going to leave it like that. It kind of looks like this roof has a little top hat on it, on that side. One of the nice things about you can texture when you're texturing shingles. I have two V tools, a 1.5 and a something bigger. I'm not sure. I was almost sounding good there. I start with the big one. It's a really easy technique to add, make it look like that. There is no rhyme or reason. That's the trick. If you think you're going to do a pattern, it's going to be hard for you to do this because it doesn't matter where they are as long as they're not in a line. This is the bigger one. If it doesn't cut good one way, you flip your piece over, you do what you got to do to get it done. But you probably all know that. Okay, that piece looks now that it's going to break out. My theory is it's on the back. I really don't need it. Off it goes. Done. Oh, that's right. Oh no. Okay, so we went with the big little V. Now this is that little 1.5. The good deal with this is if you use these light enough, you will get an itty bitty tiny curl. That's what you want to see with this, is that itty bitty tiny curl. It's not the easiest thing to do, but you will get used to it. It really, I know, and if you're in a hurry, it's something you really should pay attention to. It'll look all right though. That looks good. There's no rhyme or reason. If you start trying to put a pattern of these lines in there, somebody's going to look at it and go, oh, you know, you could definitely tell. It's something you don't have to look at. You can look at people and talk and this and that and still have it look good. So we just do a whole bunch of these in it. Bingo, bango, we have shingles on the roof. I would advise though, if any of you would like to take my class, I teach a lot more on shingles and how to make them look more realistic and stuff in the class. There's a lot of little tricks and this and that go with it. You can make anything out of cottonwood bark. I've made boats, Santas, women, cats, dogs, fish, fishing poles, deer. If you can name it and my client would like it, I carve it. Okay. So now we have shingles textured on that roof. And you know, it doesn't take that long to add these little itty bitty things to make it look better. Let's see. What else should we talk about here? Could add some rocks. Rocks are fun for me because there's not anything you have to think about. You don't have to know how to draw. All you have to do is basically know how to make a circle. I like big rocks because they're easier. Yep, I do power carve. I teach beginning power carving. I have all the stuff and I can do it. I don't care to do it so much. If I have a job coming up where, like Orlando was saying, he has to have this done and this, yeah, I power carve. I like to knife carve. I like to knife carve. I used to chainsaw carve. I've malleted, I've done all that, but now I'm pretty much down to, I really like to knife carve. So I've kind of sketched in some rocks in there, and I think I want to have a rock bed holding that all up on here. Whenever you make rocks, it's basically the same theory as the rest of it, straight in. That straight in cut means a lot. Because I'm going to have a ledge, I'd kind of like it to look, I don't know, almost like a big rock. So we're going to make it look like a big rock. You always go straight in, do your little V-cuts, but this time your V-cuts are not going to be as pronounced because when I look at rocks, there's not a big, huge gap where they meet. Where they meet, they meet. So just like that, that'll be my top ledge. That'll just be a rock hanging out. Other rocks, now I'm going to start carving them in, straight down. That's a rock. I'm going to bring that rock out. I'm going to hold my knife at an angle, and I'm going to cut to it. You don't have to be perfect. It's a rock. The deeper you go, the better it looks. Here's a rock. Here's a rock. There's a rock. The way to make these rocks look like they all stick out and they're independent of each other is where they meet. If you have two or more rocks meeting, it will create a V shape where they meet. That's where you're going to create your depth on your rocks. Okay. So I have the rocks all roughed out. I went straight in with my knife, and then I just V'd it, make it round. To make these rocks stick out, right here is the triangle. It's where this rock, and that rock meet. Wherever three rocks meet, you have a triangle. I'm going to go straight down, make them all basically meet. And this is a deep cut. See how deep that cut goes? It's kind of hard to see. That just made those two rocks come right out with that deep, deep cut. If you do that, where all of these rocks meet, all of them are going to start popping out. And then you just kind of clean the rock up. You just make it round. Look like a rock. So now I got some rocks going on. If you want to round them more, you can. You can do just about anything. To texture rocks, the easiest way to texture rocks is take a small gouge and just start hitting that rock a little bit. It doesn't take much, a couple on each. Now we got texture in these rocks. You don't want them all to be the same. It's a mix and match. So now it looks like the rocks actually look like they've got a little bit of a flow to them. So basically that is the basics of cottonwood bark carving. Possibilities are endless. This one, when finished, I can either have it sit as a table piece, I can put a hanger on it. It could be a Christmas ornament because it's so small. It could just hang on the wall. That would be totally up to whoever you give it to, whoever purchases it. I do encourage everyone to at least try bark carving, just to know if someone asks that, oh yeah, I did that, and yeah, I really liked it, or it just wasn't for me. I like to do fish, or, you know. I myself, I carve everything, every medium. I will do anything. If it's something new, I like it even more. Cottonwood trees, their bark gets so thick, and especially in other states other than Michigan, they can get up to 8 and 10 inches thick. So you have nice wood, real big pieces of wood. In Michigan, what I do is I have people all over northern Michigan that have downed trees, and they don't know what to do with them. They know it's a cottonwood tree, they don't know what to do. They're huge trees. I myself, I contract with them. I will come strip that tree of that bark, because once the bark is off, the tree will decay. With the bark on, those trees just last, it's forever. Strip that bark off. I use a draw knife. The tree has to be dead 2 to 4 years down, and really dead. The bark comes right off. If you get a new down tree, you are working. That is some work, and it's hard to get off. It's hard to carve. It is just heavy. It's not good. Most of the bark you see around has been off trees at least 3 years. The stuff from Pennsylvania, Minnesota, up to 4 years. But it's, you know, I would encourage doing it. When you get progressed in it, that's when you start making, you know, more of this type of bark carving where you're actually gluing and carving the inside out before you even put it together. So this is a little bit more advanced.
Are there other barks that are usable?
Not that I know of, unless anybody knows of any other bark people carve. They don't have the thickness. With this bark, once you get through this outer edge, it's really soft. I mean, it is so soft. I have wood carvers' fingernails, and I can take a chunk out of it. This is how soft it is. So, I mean, like with me, I have rheumatoid arthritis. This is a nice medium for me. You know, you break through the outside, and it doesn't hurt near as bad. So is there any questions? Normally when you pull it right off the tree, it's pretty dry because the tree's been dead, so it's ready to carve. I keep mine stored in just the big bins, the plastic bins, just because you never know, does it have bugs in it? Do you really want the bugs in your house, in your other wood? That's something to think of when you're traveling and bringing wood from other states. A lot of woods you are not allowed to carry across the state line. Cottonwood bark I carry anywhere, but I keep it in tubs so that, you know, if anything could happen nowadays. So I protect the environment. A lot of it I've thrown out on my garage floor that I get from Michigan, that I break up. I'll get a 3-foot by 10-foot piece, but I need a whole bunch of little pieces, so I just get big guys to come and jump on it and break it up. I know, you just jump on the bark and it will all break up. You know, I know people that do all of that. But really, for the price increase, for me as a carver, because I'm busier than most, I skip the lights. But you can. They have them on the market. You can go get those little lights, put them in. It lights up. They're really cute. If I'm at a big art show, and I have some out. I will put light behind my screen just for the effect that they see through the windows. But as for putting lights in, no. Any other questions? Thank you. Set that right up there.